Hey there, it's Nicholas Coombe here from 68 Whiskey, and I'm hanging out with Elias today for the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to the party, pal!
You're my boy, Blue!
Yo, Adrian!
A podcast with interviews of amazing guests from the world of pop culture.
Oh, yeah!
TV.
Nice!
Movies.
Oh, I love the movies!
Comedy and more. From deep inside the Man Cave, your host, Elias.
Nicholas, welcome to the cave.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
How are you? What's new with you?
I'm good. I'm hanging out. I just went to a cafe, had myself an iced mocha, so I'm all buzzed up. I'm ready to go.
There you go. So, you've been busy the last few years, huh? Numerous TV show and film appearances. You've done some voiceover work. Last year, you had a role in Dora in the Lost City, and you just recently starred in 68 Whiskey. But I want the listeners to get to know a little bit more about you. Where are you originally from?
Sure. Yeah, I'm originally from a city in Australia on the west coast called Perth, which, if I'm correct, Perth is the most isolated city in the world.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm basically from the middle of nowhere.
How was it growing up there?
It's great. It's still a big city. It's just really far away from basically every other city in Australia, and then Australia itself is quite far away from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But it was great. It's I grew up in a nice, I don't know, your classic neighborhood. Went to school and hung out with friends. So nothing too crazy. It was quite fun.
So growing up there as a kid, like what were you into?
Sorry?
I said, as a kid growing up in Australia, like what were you into? What were some of the things you grew up liking?
Oh, sure. Personally, I love the beach. I've always considered myself a water baby. We live pretty close to the beach. The city's right on the coast, so I'd spend the majority of my time either going to the beach or I played some sports. I played field hockey for a few years growing up, and I did a bunch of theatre growing up because I've always loved performing theatre, and I played a bit of music. So, kept myself busy, and I spent a lot of time with my friends, just hanging out and being kids, I guess.
So growing up, like, how did you know you wanted to get into the acting world? What pushed you towards it?
Originally, I started out performing in, I guess, dance and theatre, and I think that's where I really fell in love with I guess the thrill of performing. I get such a rush from it. I get nervous, and then that gets me all excited, and it's I really love that rush from performing in theatre, and then I had the opportunity to kind of jump into film, and I found out that I also got a rush from doing that, but it was kind of different. So ever since I was a kid, Mum said that I've always been performing and putting on shows and just entertaining people. And I think I really kind of discovered it. I'd say when I was 14 is when I really made the decision that I wanted to do acting.
Wow. Did you, I assume you started doing acting classes at 14, or did you start it before that?
I think around there was when I started, I did acting class throughout high school. I started doing theatre when I was like 7, I think. The actual acting classes was probably a little bit older than that. About 14, actually.
Oh, wow. So while you were doing the acting classes, how did you decide that you wanted to, because I read online that you moved to Vancouver to grow more into your acting and take the next step. How old were you?
So I'd heard about Canada when I was in high school. And then I basically made the game plan to move there right after high school. So I graduated. I spent a year working. I worked like 4 jobs to save up enough money. Yeah. And then I flew over. I think I just turned 19 a few days before. So I was basically a 19-year-old kid, and I moved to the complete other side of the world, to Vancouver, to pursue the acting dream.
Yeah, wow. So what was your first gig after moving to Vancouver? Do you remember your first gig?
My first gig was the TV series Supernatural, which was cool. I feel like that's a right of way for Vancouver actors because they've been filming that show here. I think they did like 14 or 15 seasons on it.
Yeah.
But I had a guest star role, which was like 1 day of shooting, I think. But my character ended up not even being seen in the episode. So that was my first role. I didn't actually make it on camera. But it was a really cool experience because I'd never been on a big, American set before.
Yeah.
So that whole experience for me was so exciting, and I learned so much from that day.
Yeah.
But then my next proper role was a Disney movie called Pants on Fire, where I kind of had like a supporting lead role on that, and that was a blast.
Oh, wow.
Fun kids movie.
So last year you were in Dora and the Lost City. How did you get involved with that project?
That one came through as an audition tape from LA. So my team sent me the script and the sides, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to go for this?" And at first I was like, "Oh, Dora, like the cartoon." And then I read it and was like, "Oh, this is so funny. Like, it's such a hilarious script." So I sent off a tape, and then I heard back. It was a really quick process. I think I spoke to the director a week after that audition, and then he gave me some notes, and I retaped it. And then the next phone call I got, they were like, "We're flying you out to Australia on Friday." And I was like, "What? It's 2 days to pack?" So that whole process was so quick. So it was a blast.
So that was kind of cool how you went back home to film the movie.
Yes, I've always wanted to work back home. Being Australian, I know that we have a cool industry over there. So the opportunity to work in Australia was that was really a dream come true for me. Yeah. It was really nice to have the Australian crew that I could banter back and forth with.
So like how exciting was it starting in a film like that?
How funny was it?
How exciting was it?
Oh, exciting. It was huge. It was so exciting. I've never worked on a project that big before because it was, a massive feature film, adventure, family kind of action film. So that was incredible. The sets that they built over there were stunning. The guy we had that was the production designer, his name's Dan Henner, and he's the man that him and his team, they designed all the sets for Lord of the Rings. So he's a legend, basically, in his field. And he built all these crazy practical sets that you could walk through. So, I mean, from that to how much crew there was and all the studios we were filming out, and we went on locations and jungles and all sorts of things. So the whole experience was insane. Yeah. And it was cool to me that it was in Australia. So I was able to get my family to come visit set, and that was also really cool for me.
So I mentioned earlier you recently starred in Paramount's 68 Whiskey. For the listeners, really quick, tell us what the show is about.
68 Whiskey follows a bunch of medics and other soldiers on a U.S. Army base in Afghanistan. And it basically follows their lives, their daily interactions, kind of what they get up to behind the scenes, which is sometimes sneaky stuff, and other times they follow protocol, really depending on the characters. But you're really just watching the day-to-day lives of these soldiers and kind of the experiences they get up to over there. It's really interesting.
Yeah. Now, you play Private Anthony Petrocelli. Tell us about your audition for the role of him.
I love Anthony Petrocelli, just to start off. I think he's hilarious. My audition, what happened? I think we just had the premiere for Dora about a day or two before, and then I got a call from my manager, and he said, "Hey, Nick, I've managed to squish you into this audition. I think it's perfect for you. It's this funny kid in the Army." And I'd always had the dream of working on a military show. I've always found it interesting, and I've always loved watching films and shows about the U.S. military. So I immediately jumped aboard and was like, "Yes, get me in the room." So we were able to do that, and I walked in and I saw our director, Michael Lehman, and the creator, Roberto, there. And it was basically two things. And one was with the goat, and one was just I can't remember the other thing. But it was comedy. So I basically just pulling myself out there and I was just a complete idiot and had fun with it. And I guess that worked for the character.
Yeah. How was it auditioning with the goat in front of the people?
Well, the goat wasn't actually there, so I just pretended the goat was there. But I remember reading the sides and seeing that there's a goat in the scene, and I was like, this is going to be funny. And like, when do you ever get the chance to work with a goat?
Yeah.
So it was a fun thing. It was a fun one to play around with.
Yeah. Now, how would you describe your character?
I describe Anthony as your classic, 17-year-old kid. He's very naive, but just through being young. He's fresh to the army. He basically just wants to be the best soldier that he can be. He's trying to, follow all the rules and, kind of get his ranks up eventually because he's fresh, or he's the lowest on the base at the moment. But yeah, he just wants to be the best soldier he can, but also he wants to make friends because he grew up being homeschooled. So I think he's basically trying to figure out how to fit in while following the rules. But I guess he figures out that you can't actually do both. Because in order to fit in with the other guys, you can't have to break the rules a little bit, which is something that I guess he struggles with, that he's learning throughout the show. To fit in, you got to kind of survive over there. Yeah.
How did you? So when you got the role, like, how did you prepare for the role? Like, what kind of research did you do?
I personally watched as many documentaries as I could on kind of medics and soldiers in the U.S. Army. I also watched a bunch of TV shows and films, just so I had like a rough kind of idea of the technical aspect to what they get up to. But then we also had on set, we had military advisors in every department. So kind of depending what the day was and what the scene was, there was always someone there who would basically walk through the scene with us and be like, this is what you would do in this situation, and this is the correct way to stand, this is the correct way to hold your weapon. So we had a whole bunch of training. I also had some like weapons training and a few other things to teach me. So yeah, every day on set I was learning something new, which is really cool.
What did you find the most challenging to play? Like, or what was the most challenging thing about the character?
You know what? I've done so far in my career majority comedy.
Yeah.
And in this show, there's a really good mix between comedy and drama, and they've thrown Petrocelli into some really intense situations in this show, which has been like just drama. And that for me has been a struggle, but in a good way. It's been a really good challenge to take myself outside of the category of comedy where I'm just being an idiot to like a real moment where this human's kind of like struggling with what's happening. So as an actor, that's been a really cool challenge that I've enjoyed.
Yeah. And
I'm learning a lot working amongst the other actors on set are all such incredible actors. So I've been learning a lot from them. But yeah, I'd say for me, that's been a really fun challenge. The kind of the serious aspect of the show.
So the show had a great premiere. How do you feel about the response from the fans so far?
Yeah, that was so exciting. You never know what to expect when your show's coming out. Kind of all I knew was that everyone had poured their heart and their soul into the project, and we'd had an absolute blast whilst doing that. So you always hope that the audience kind of reciprocate that, and that they can feel that energy that you put into it. So that was really exciting news when we heard that the show had an incredible premiere. So yeah, I love it. I'm stoked. Everyone seems really happy, and we've been getting some really cool responses. So yeah, I'm stoked about it.
What do you think was your favorite scene that you filmed?
I loved all the goat stuff. That was always really fun.
Boz the goat, right?
Boz the goat. I love Boz. Great goat. We had a bunch of fun with that. But I really enjoyed, in the pilot, I did quite a bit of scenes, for the first 2 episodes actually, quite a few scenes with Jeremy and Sam. And I really loved working with those guys. We had an absolute blast. We were just hanging out in the middle of the desert, having a laugh. So that was also quite fun.
Yeah. How is it working with the cast? And how is it working with working under like Ron Howard?
So the cast are incredible people. Everyone that I've worked with has been incredibly nice, incredibly talented, and just fun to work with. I guess that's the cool thing about an ensemble cast is every episode I'm getting to work with someone new.
Yeah.
And there's some of the cast that, it gets halfway through the season and I'm like, I haven't actually worked with you yet. Like, I'm excited to. So that's been really cool seeing how all these different characters interact with each other, because I guess as an audience, when you're viewing it, you know each character, but some of them have never met. So it's really interesting seeing them kind of meet for the first time and watch that. So that's good. And, working on a show that Ron Howard and Brian Grazer are behind, what an incredible experience. I mean, these guys are legends. So having the opportunity to kind of star in a production by them has been a dream come true. When I saw the audition, I loved it.
Yeah. Very
exciting.
What do you have any funny moments that happened to you like behind set?
I've seen so many funny moments. Probably the goat just trying to
the goat
eat me. There's a scene where I'm standing talking to one of the other characters, and the goat's kind of at head level.
Yeah.
And the whole scene, it just kept trying to eat my hat. So I'm trying to have this serious moment, and then out the corner of my eye, I just see the goat mouth coming in and he's ripping my hat off. So that was pretty funny. But I think they're using that take, actually.
So what do you think? We're going to see you and the goat back for the next season?
Oh, you have to watch and find out.
That's right. That's right. So, what do you think is the hardest role that you've played so far in your career?
Really good question. I haven't been asked that one. This one's been challenging for me because this is a new type of role that I've never done before. I've never played, a military role, so I knew nothing about it coming into it apart from the research I'd done. I'd say this has been one of the most challenging so far. Because most of my other roles, I've just been playing a high school teenage kid, but kind of the funny friend, which I love, and I have a blast doing those roles. But this one's probably been the most challenging due to what I said earlier about it being a mix of drama and comedy and realism. So I'd say to date, this has definitely been one of the most challenging, for sure.
Do you have a dream? What's your dream role that you want to play, that you hope that you could play someday?
It's funny you ask that. When I was doing Dora, I kept getting asked that question in interviews, and I always said, I want to play a soldier on a military production.
Really?
So now that's happened.
It's
crazy. Yeah, I'd been saying it for months leading up to this audition. So I found that really funny when the audition came through. I was like, whoa, I've just been talking about this for like a while. So my next dream role, which is also something I've always wanted to do, is I'd love to play a pirate. I've loved pirates ever since I was a kid.
Really?
I love like the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, I don't know. It's just this weird thing where I'm like, that'd be a cool role. So, like the movie Master and Commander, I love that. I love the idea of, exploration and pirates and treasure, and I don't know. So maybe that, we'll see.
Yeah. So, really quick, tell us about your band, the Beanie Kids.
Yeah. It was great. We had such a fun time playing music. We kind of, I guess our music's like indie rock, kind of almost pop rock. We play, it's just a three-piece band. There's me, I got Avery O'Brien on the bass and James and Cole on the drums, and it basically started out just us jamming for fun. I had a bunch of songs that I'd written in high school, and I'd always wanted a band, but none of my friends in high school were musically talented, so I'd be like, hey, play this part, and couldn't. So when I moved here, I managed to find some people that could play music, and we had some jams, and we're like, oh, this is quite fun.
That's
and
awesome.
We ended up writing a bunch of songs together. So now, yeah, we're a band. We've recorded our EP. We're going to be releasing it this summer, which is really exciting, and hopefully doing a bunch of shows.
So what's next for you? Any other upcoming projects that you could tell the listeners about?
Nothing that I can talk about,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But there's some stuff in the pipeline, and hopefully soon we can talk about it.
There you go. Lastly, how can the listeners find you on social media?
You can find me, I think it's my name, Nicholas Coombe. It'll be like at Nicholas Coombe, across, I think, Instagram, Twitter, and I think Facebook is Nicholas Coombe Actor
That's awesome.
is my social.
All right.
But yeah, I'm mostly active on Instagram. If
Perfect.
that's what you guys
Perfect.
do. Come say hey.
Nicholas, this was fun. Thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap, everybody. That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to the Man Cave Chronicles podcast.
I finally get my man cave.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the MCC Podcast and our website, themccpodcast.com. Until next time.